Hi everyone. It's Thursday. Oh, now it's officially Thanksgiving. It's 12:01. It's Thursday, November 23rd, 2017 at 12:01 in the morning. So, I have no idea if this video is going to work because my webcam is being a complete bitch. And any video that I try to make, the audio is off and it doesn't work. And it's really frustrating. Because I've been trying to, I feel like this is like crooked or something, I don't know. I've been trying to document my process of being in the show that I was in. And some of the videos, just like the audio is straight up out of sync. So, but anyway, it's been a hot minute since I made a video and I just wanted to make a video to talk about my experience in the play that I was in and why I've been away basically for like the last month and what it was like having my first lead role and everything. So, basically I was cast in Anton Chekhovs' The Seagull as Constantine. This play was written in 1895. So clearly it has stood the test of time. And it is revered as one of the greatest plays ever written. Then, the part that I'm playing is considered one of the most complex characters ever written, specifically, like, emotionally, because of the journey that he goes on. So, that's cool. So yeah, basically, Constantine has been compared to, like, playing Hamlet or something. So it's been, yes. So yes, just some facts, I guess, right off the bat. This is my first role in New York City and being in a play. This is my first lead ever in my entire life. This is my first role playing a male. So that's exciting. And yeah, I haven't been in a show for like 8 years, and I've also only been in 2 straight plays in my entire life. And I've been acting for 11 years or something. So yeah, very exciting stuff. But basically, here's what's up. The Seagull is a 4-act play, and it's very dramatic. It is considered a comedy, despite the dark subject matter of basically my character is the one that really brings the show down because it's really sad. Basically, this is the trajectory of my character. There's 4 other big characters, like I said. Not like I said. There are 4 other really big characters, but Constantine is the one that basically like carries the whole show and interacts with a lot of people. But basically what happens is Constantine is 25 years old. He's a young playwright. He has a famous actress for a mother. Her actress is like this really famous like socialite lady, and she's dating this really famous novelist who's only 30 years old. So 5 years age difference, and Constantine fucking hates him. Constantine is in love with this younger girl. Her name is Nina. She's 18. So that's, I mean, whatever. It's not like a huge deal. It's not like it's paid attention to, but she's younger. So he's madly in love with her, but she falls in love with his mom's boyfriend, which is like the 30-year-old novelist. So that's kind of how those are the relationships. Now, in the middle of Act 2 and 3, Constantine attempts suicide by shooting himself in the head, and he does not succeed. And then at the end of the play, the final moments of the play is he actually does succeed in killing himself. And the last line of the play is, "Get Arkadna out of here. Constantine just shot himself." So So basically, here's what's up. We did this play in 4 weeks, which is absolutely insane. Most plays you work on for 6 to 8 weeks. So the fact that we did this in 4 weeks is just like insane and stressful, and it's just a lot to handle. And especially because I haven't been in a show forever, but I've also never, ever in my life mattered for anything in being in a show. This was just like a huge responsibility. And the emotional roller coaster that not only Constantine goes through in the show of being happy and in love and feeling that failure from constantly wanting his mother to love him and her not being able to give her that love and feeling the rejection and then eventually killing himself is, I mean, that's really complex. He's very vulnerable at some points and then very angry and aggressive. And like one scene, he threatens suicide. He literally says, "Soon in the same way I shall kill myself," while he's like holding a gun, a rifle. So it was a very complex character to play. But the reason that I was so drawn to this role is I played this part. I did one scene from it, the famous bandage scene, in which him and his mother get in this gigantic fight while she's cleaning his wound from the gunshot attempt that he had before. So I did that scene when I was at Atlantic, and I just fell in love with it because there's so much that I relate to with Constantine on like a deep, like psychological level, just in terms of like depression and wanting the need for love and acceptance and just being like a sad human being and being very complex. Like we have a lot in common, especially like when you break it down to like symptoms of like psychologically and what those symptoms could be related to, like mental health wise, like mental illness wise. So anyway, I had always wanted to play the character, and I thought never in my life will you be able to play this character because you look and sound like a girl. Despite your gender identity, like no one's ever going to give you a chance. So just like give up, you know? And Jesus Christ was with me and allowed me to play this role that has profoundly changed my life. I've learned so much about myself, some good things, some bad things. I learned I certainly learned what I need to work on as an actor. I learned what methods work for me in terms of finding a character, and I realized that the training that I had at the Atlantic of the specific method that I was being taught, which is called practical aesthetics, I kind of used some of that, but then I also like used some method acting stuff. So it was really an interesting process because I'm starting now that I'm fresh out of school. I finished literally last December, so it's been a year. I'm now forming my own technique and finding what works for me, and that was a complicated process of navigating how to deal with these really intense emotional scenes about what skills do I need to rely on in order to convey this character. And I'm really happy with the performance that I did, but then like the side note of that, like the like little words under that is I'm happy with the work that I did in the amount of time that I had. I wish I would have had more time to find more depth and more range and work on the things that I need to work on as an actor, which is basically like grounding my body in space, and not being all over the place and like gesturing and not knowing what to do with my body, because that's something that I really struggle with as an actor. And I think a lot of actors do. Finding stillness on stage is an extraordinarily difficult thing. There's kind of like a thing in theater where people say when you're on stage, like you forget how to be a human. It's really crazy. You lose the essence of what you do with your hands and how to speak and how to be genuine. And I was just reminded multiple times of how fucking difficult it is to be an actor, and then also to have the weight of carrying a show and a story on your back is a lot. And like the truth of the matter is, I've been to 2 very prestigious acting schools, and I've been in shows, and I've done a couple parts and web series and stuff, but like I've never had a learning opportunity like this. I've never been given this big of an opportunity in my entire life. So this was huge. This was a really big learning experience, and I had someone in the industry come and see the show, and they had lots of feedback for me. And I'm going to meet with them again next week and kind of expand on what we talked about. But yeah, I definitely, I don't know. I don't know. I know that I have some work to do before I think I'm ready for like the big leagues, but I'm getting there, and I have to be gentle with myself and say that like I'm learning, I'm learning. And what a great role to learn, and what a great role to have as my New York debut. Like I'm so lucky. But anyway, besides that, I have a couple funny stories from the show. Well, number one, first of all, I got a tattoo, y'all, to commemorate the show. It says, "I am the boy." And the reason that I got that tattoo is because of the description that they decided to use this is gross. Because of the description that they decided to write for the show. Basically, I know the beginning sentence is verbatim, but then after that it gets messy. But basically it was like, a lakeside community gathers to watch a boy's play. The boy falls in love with his actress. His actress falls in love with fame. And then something about both aspire to greatness, but only one will be able to deal with the effects of failure or something like that. And when I read this description, my life basically changed, because as I was reading the description, I was like, holy fucking shit, I'm the boy. And I realized that like in this description that I was the boy that they were talking about. In these first two fucking sentences, I mattered enough that I was in the description of the play. Because basically the whole process of me being in this show was, I don't deserve this role. I'm not good enough. Why did they give me this role? Why did they think I could handle this? All this stuff. So it was a lot of negative self-talk and just telling myself that I wasn't good enough. And as soon as I stepped on that stage, most of that self-talk went away. Obviously, there were some moments that were better than others. Obviously, scenes were stronger than others. But there were a couple moments when I was reminded that I was like, you are capable of doing this, and you also have worked to play a role like this. This didn't just happen. This wasn't just a chance that was just given to me. I've trained for years to be able to play a role like this, and it was just kind of like I don't know, it was a lot to handle. So anyway, yes, I got this tattoo and I love it. And the reason I got a tattoo is because of how much this play means to me. Besides those reasons of this is my first lead and my first role in New York, it's like this specific play and this character means a lot to me. And also, in a bigger sense, this also validates my trans identity, that I was able to play a male role. So just, yeah, this has a lot of meaning to me. But other than that, yeah, funny story, I suppose. So at the end of the play, in the fourth act, Constantine is a mess. It's 2 years later than the first three acts. So at that time in the play, his whole life has fallen apart. The love of his life has rejected him. He is just very unhappy. And like I said, the play, the second to last scene is him running off stage, and then you hear a gunshot and we know that he killed himself. So at the end of the show, Constantine, or my character, has like a table because he's a writer. So there's like books and papers and all this shit on there. And the final moments of his time in the play, and the script is written like verbatim. For the next 2 minutes, he silently rips up his manuscripts. So I didn't do it for 2 minutes in any way, but I would say each night I ripped up about like 6 pieces of paper. And I went very method, and I actually used diary entries of things that I've written when I was in a really deep, dark depression. So what I did was I went through like my WordPress blog and I picked out the darkest lines ever, just like the most depressing things, talking about like self-harm and suicide and worthlessness and all this stuff. And I printed it off and I put it on and I had it on my table in the show. And so when it was the end of the show, I ripped all those pieces up. So then when I'm leaving the stage, I throw everything off my table. And as I'm leaving to like the backstage, which is like over here, there's a table and I like knock over a chair. Like I'm pissed. I knock over a chair and I knock things off the table. But the first night that I did the show, somehow my foot got caught in the chair and I'm wearing socks in the last scene. I don't have shoes on. So when I kicked the chair, somehow like my foot got like caught under it and I like ripped a bunch of skin off of my shin. So I have like a big indentation on my skin right now, on my shin specifically, of like, I don't know, an inch of skin that's missing. So then the second night I was like, okay, let's not do that again. So then I tried using my hand to shove it over and I ended up breaking a nail. Cool. Then the last night of the show, because at this point in the show, I'm like crying and just a mess of a human being. Like I'm like literally ripping up the papers and crying and just like sad about my life. And so the last night of the show, I knock my things off the desk and I'm running off stage and I try knocking the chair over with my hand again and it didn't fall. So then I like walked back and tried knocking it over again, but instead of the chair falling, I fell on my ass onto the ground. Then I got back up for the third time and I knocked that chair over and I was like, fuck it! And then ran off stage. Now luckily, I guess people in the audience didn't hear specifically what I said. They didn't hear me say fuck it, but they heard me like yell something. So that's good, I guess, because I was crying and also laughing all at the same time backstage because I was just like, I can't believe I just said that. And I also can't believe that I was so like committed to knocking over this chair. Because is that realistic? If you're going to go shoot yourself in the head, do you really care about knocking over a chair? But apparently I did. Apparently I really cared. Also another funny thing that happened is there's a part in the play, which is a very serious scene where he gets in a fight with his mother. And the choreography is that I shove a table towards her on a line. I say his work makes me sick. And I shove this very large dining room table at the woman that's playing my mom. And then she starts pushing the table at me. So both of us are pushing the table on opposite sides like this. I don't know at what point what specifically happened, but at some point somehow the table tipped over on its side. So like the legs were sticking out. And the choreography is when that doesn't fucking happen, I literally I rip a tablecloth off of the table and I throw everything off the table and I jump on the table and just fucking lunge at her and start like screaming in her face and like chasing her around the room. And obviously that was not possible. So yeah, opening night, when two very important friends were there, the table just like fell on its side. So that was cool. I was like, what do I do with this? But overall, it was a really great experience. And I'm proud of myself. I got really great feedback from people. The feedback that I wanted to hear when I got the role, which was I didn't want to play into his sadness. It's very easy with a role of this depth and range and emotion to fall into the trap of just playing Constantine as this like mopey, depressed, like character. And I was really relieved to hear that people said that this was a very genuine 3D authentic performance of like a fully formed human being that had a range of emotions. So that makes me feel happy. That makes me feel like I did my job as an actor to be able to show who Constantine is. I mean, yes, he's very sad. Yes, whatever. But also he's a human being that's complex. And I think the reason that I wanted this role so badly and why it means so much to me is because I do relate to him so much on a psychological level. And I thought that when I was given the opportunity to audition, I was like, I don't know. I don't think this is a conceited thing to say, but I thought because of my life experience and how much we had in common, I was in the mindset of good luck trying to find someone that can play this as honestly as I can because of the things that I've been through, not because I'm the world's greatest actor. That had nothing to do with it. It wasn't from an ego point. It was that I have so many life experiences that are shared with this character that was written in 1895, but I could bring a truth to it that maybe some actors weren't able to. And I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to do that. And you know, I will probably never play this role again. And although that's very sad to me, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do it and to have this be like my introduction to New York theater and just my introduction to my professional career. So this was a very, very long video. If you're still watching, congratulations. You're an amazing human being and I love you for it. And you should comment below if you're still watching this because you get a cookie. You get a cookie because you're awesome. So that's what's up, guys. That's why I've been gone for a while. And yeah, my life has profoundly changed. I'm really excited to see what comes after this, what opportunities are available to me as an actor, and what kind of roles I'm going to be able to play now. So, yeah, hopefully when I stop this video, it won't be fucked up and the audio won't be bad and I will be able to add this to YouTube. Pray for me. Okay, guys, have a great night. If you're in America, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you eat lots of good food and spend it with people that you love and enjoy being in their company. So, all right, bye, guys.